Today, we're talking about why a person can't lose weight and what that culprit might be. You've done the detoxes, you've tried the drops, the shakes, the injections, the 21-day reset. Maybe it works for a minute. You lose 5, lose 10, lose 25, but it all comes back. Like clockwork, it all comes roaring back, and usually with a few extra rounds of adipose tissue as a souvenir. Now, this isn't just because your body is broken, because your body just has to stay at this weight. It's not that. Here's what we got to understand. You didn't fail. This quick fix thing failed you. And so we want to get away from the quick fix. The quick fix salesman failed to mention that you may be experiencing chronic inflammation. And that chronic inflammation doesn't care about your juice cleanse or your week on keto. It's a systemic process that thinks it is trying to save you. It really is a survival mechanism. Chronic inflammation is. Quick fixes only address the periphery. Sure, they may be great for a few cells, help your social media account, but the real life activity demonstrates they are a terrible investment. They have nothing to do with health accumulation. They don't address the underlying challenge that is the problem for so many people who have weight that just won't come off. And it's inflammation, because inflammation is a surface level problem. You can't starve it away or supplement it out of existence in 3 weeks, 21 days. Inflammation is a cascade. It's a complex, multiple system process that's been building in our bodies for potentially months, years, some people it's decades. It started long before you stepped on the scale and didn't like what you saw with that number, or before the rash showed up on your arms or the joints started aching. Those presentations, those are just the final breaking point for the body. So maybe it started with years of poor sleep or chronic stress from a demanding job that you did not enjoy, or gut imbalance from antibiotics you took for 5 years or took 5 years ago, or a food routine built on the standard American way of eating, maybe the standard American food pyramid at that. Processed foods, lots of added sugars that slowly deranged the cellular balance of your body. Or maybe it's all of the above at different times. So our body responds the only way it knows how to, by activating our immune system when we're inundated with what I just mentioned. It goes on the defensive, starts releasing inflammatory meters. It starts shifting into survival mode. And once the inflammation cascade, that inflammatory cascade is triggered, our metabolism, it changes. Now we got all this energy going there instead of fat burning, right? So hormones shift because bacteria in our gut shifted. This all culminates in our body storing and holding on to, rather than burning fat as energy source. A 2-week spring detox does nothing. I'm sorry, but it does nothing to reestablish inflammatory balance. I know all your friends, your buddies, your MLMs are promoting it, but it just does nothing. And in a lot of cases, it actually likely makes you worse off than before you even did it. Because inflammation, it doesn't just disappear when you drop calories or you cut carbs for a few days. We have to work it out of our system. Our body has to recalibrate it. Literally, cell by cell, system by system, tissue by tissue. And our best friend is time. Time. This is usually the last thing my patients want to hear. Anybody wants to hear. I don't want to hear this. But we can't live in a fairy tale because we're not getting the results there. We want results that last. We want to see health is accumulating in our being. So when inflammation becomes chronic, our bodies go into metabolic lockdown. Our fat cells start pumping out inflammatory molecules called cytokines. And these cytokines signal to the rest of our body We're under threat. Hold on to everything. Let's not go building and repairing muscle tissue. Let's just hold on. We're in survival mode here. Our cells become resistant to insulin, the hormone that's supposed to help us use sugar for energy. So our pancreas cranks out more insulin to compensate. Unfortunately, high insulin on repeat is the fastest way to store energy, especially around that belt line. We also develop something called leptin resistance. And leptin is the hormone that tells our brain, we're full, stop eating, hold a mat. In an inflamed body, this message gets blocked. So even when we've eaten enough, our brain thinks we're still starving. We think about food nonstop. You been there? Maybe you're there right now. Food is just all it seems like it is between the ears here. And this is precisely why the quick fixes should be called, I would say, like quick trauma. Let's give ourselves some quick trauma. And we slash calories, we drink only liquids, our body goes into panic mode, our metabolism slows down to conserve energy. We lose a little weight, mostly water and muscle, but the inflammatory cascade has not been arrested. And now we're down a couple pounds of muscle in the process. We are as unhealthy as ever. The second we go back to normal, in quotes, eating, our body overcompensates. We store calories even more aggressively. Can you see how vicious the cycle is? We end up fatter, more inflamed, more frustrated with our body, thinking, what can I do here? This is just how I am. But our body is doing exactly what it is designed to do when we are under chronic threat, this inflammatory threat. So roughly 70% of our immune system lives in our gut, amongst that gut flora. Our gut lining is supposed to be a tight barrier, letting certain nutrients in, keeping toxins out, keeping bacteria out of our bloodstream. But years of ultra-processed food consumption, corn syrup, vanilla, corn syrup pumps, stress with no rest, alcohol, surgeries, medication, all this damages that lining and becomes excessively permeable, or we say leaky. And when our gut is leaky, particles that should stay in our intestines slip into our bloodstream. And our immune system sees them as invaders, and it launches these inflammatory attacks on them. And that inflammation spreads into our liver, fat tissue, our muscles, gallbladder, eyes, joints, brain, everywhere. Our gut needs sustained, consistent nourishment to heal. It requires nutrient-dense whole food substance to feed the good bacteria. I know it's not rocket science, because it's not rocket science. It needs time without regular irritation from artificial or ultra-concentrated sugars, alcohol, rancid oils. It just needs time. Give it time away from this. Healing our gut and therefore reducing systemic inflammation, not a quick fix. We're not a car that needs an oil change. We are millions, I say this a lot, but we're millions of interacting cells, all alive, all trying to live, signaling with each other, and bacteria on top of that working in unison. It needs recalibration, and recalibration takes months, potentially years of consistent intentional inputs. Consistency, it's a super tough word, but that is where health accumulation happens. So what does recalibration actually look like? I'm glad you asked. It means eating on repeat these anti-inflammatory foods. We're talking grass-fed beef, buffalo, bison, salmon, sardines, leafy greens, berries, walnuts, beans, seeds, olive oil, whole grains, actual literal whole grains. I'm not sure where you can find that in the store, but actual literal whole grain, the whole grain. Not for a week, not for a challenge, but as a lifestyle, a way of styling our food routine. It means managing stress, not occasionally, but daily. Not eliminating stressors. Stressors help us grow, but we manage life stress, energy, and intensity by being prepared, having a plan for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year, talking through our challenges. Put your challenge on paper, getting out in the most amazing beaches, forests, mountains that God created, exerting ourselves physically, like getting physical activity happening with our being, no matter what your predicament is. taking breaks from being online and available to all of humanity all the time, asking for help, humbling ourselves literally in prayer before the hand of the Almighty God and asking Him with an open heart to show us His ways. This is how we accumulate health. This is how we get over this inflammatory cascade. It means prioritizing sleep literally as a life accelerator rather than a nuisance. Like it's holding us back. It means giving ourselves time to heal the gut lining, time to restore insulin sensitivity, time to reset leptin signaling, time to calm the immune system. Inflammation is not our enemy. It's our body's alarm system. It's trying to protect us, saying, hey, Matt, you know what? Things are not working out well in here. We really need you, please, Matt, to adjust your inputs so that we can do valiantly. Thank you. But when that alarm has been ringing for years and years because of stress, poor food, bad sleep, toxins, chronic infections, our body gets stuck in defense mode. And we can't shut off the alarm with a crash diet or with a detox week. Your life is going to look so contrary to the world around you, racing to the top of the cliff. Fantastic. Great. If our lives don't look different than the world around us, we're probably in a state of inflammation. So try this for 18, 24 months. Give your body awesome food. Put your body in motion. Give it the opportunity to adapt. Put it on a sleep schedule. Present your body as a living sacrifice to the Lord and do this on a repeat. This is accumulating health. If you know somebody struggling, you better share this with them. And don't forget to subscribe. All right. Talk to you guys later.